Today we have none other than Team Tremendous, Bill Carr and Dan Barry. Thank you for joining us today.
Wait, this isn't the sex hotline?
Well, we do that after this, the podcast first, then the hotline.
All right, I guess I'll put my pants on then.
I'm still gonna leave them off. I don't care.
I know.
Okay, so for anybody listening out there that may not be familiar with you guys, we're going to kind of start from the beginning. So, Dan and Bill, were you guys both fans of wrestling as kids?
I think you have to be, don't you?
I hope so. I hope so.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that either one of us can say that we weren't fans. I mean, it's pretty much, if we weren't fans before, we have to have been now because of that. But yeah, no, I was a fan since far back as I can remember.
Yeah, same here. I think my mother told me that she didn't want to deal with me, so she just sat me in front of the television and put on wrestling, and I was hooked ever since then.
All right.
His mother's lack of love for him is what.
Yeah, very good parenting.
Lack of love brings you to pro wrestling. Hey, it's a start, right? Now, guys, how did you guys get involved into pro wrestling? I mean, how did it come to be that one day you guys were saying to yourselves, "I'm going to be a pro wrestler"?
Bill, I'll let you take this one first. I'm making tacos.
All right, I'll go first. Well, I mean, going back to being a little kid, this is always a dream of mine and everything. So it was really always what I wanted to do in some way, shape, or form. How I got started, I had met Tony DeVito when I was wrestling in high school. His son was on the same team as me, and he was at one of the practices, and I went up to him. This was like, I think right when Ring of Honor just started up. So I went up to him and like introduced myself and all that stuff. And hung out with him a few times. He ran a small wrestling school near my house that I would go visit from time to time. But I didn't really start training until after I think it was right after high school. I think I started training. So it was summer of 2005. So yeah, that's how I got into it. Danny, been making tacos yet?
I'm still making tacos. Right now I'm actually cutting open an avocado to make some guacamole too.
Yeah, we can hear you because it's the loudest goddamn thing I think I've ever heard in my life.
You're chopping like a boss over there.
Look, I am Emerald Lagasse. Okay, I need to get my fucking food in. I get home from work very late, so I you guys are having this podcast during Daddy's eating time, as they call it. I started wrestling. I was.
Go ahead, on to the next subject.
What's that?
Nothing. I was just interrupting you.
Okay. So I was just 17 years old, and I always wanted to be a wrestler. Like I told all my friends I was going to be a wrestler. Like I did the stereotypical like wrestling in my living room type thing. And then I founded a wrestling school that was opening in like Hicksville, and I found out like one of my ex-girlfriends actually was going to it, and I was like, that's weird. And I went in. I signed up at 17 years old. I had my mom sign for me, because that's how that works. And I just started wrestling, and it was groundbreaking because I was 130 pounds, and it was pointless for me to try and wrestle because I couldn't actually physically move anybody.
I'll ask both of you guys this. As of 2014, how long have you both been wrestling?
I've been wrestling, this was 14 years. I started in 2000.
Jesus, what an old man.
Yeah, I mean, I'm an old man, but I mean, like, Bill, you have to hold your breath and tie your shoes. I really wouldn't start calling anybody old.
Whatever. Shut up. How long have I been wrestling?
Oh my God, it's so boring. I think 7 years.
7? No, I don't even think it was that much. Probably like 6 or 14. I don't know. One or the other.
All right. Now, Bill, your career took off, and you landed in FCW, WWE's.
Way to rub that in.
WWE's developmental territory.
Hey, Bill. Hey, Dan. Oh, cool. What do you? Bill, your career really took off, didn't it?
Oh, we have questions for you too. Don't worry.
Yeah.
We make you sound really good. Don't worry.
Yeah.
We got to do the back and forth, you know.
Okay. All right.
But Bill, so you're
Now, Dan, we heard you make one hell of a taco.
Oh yeah, I'm about to make some guacamole too, because that's a daddy roll.
That's the next question. But Bill, so your career took off. You landed in FCW. When you got there, did they have any plans for you immediately, or was it still, still new to WWE? Because as it blossomed into NXT right now, I mean, was FCW working with WWE still kind of new down there, getting the things in order?
Oh, when I got down there, I think FCW had been the developmental system for, I think, 2 or 3 years at that point. When I got down there, I had no idea what they wanted me to do. I actually at one point thought that they hired the wrong person. I still had no idea why I was down there in the first place. But yeah, it was. It took a while. Well, not really a while. It took like a month or two before John Laurinaitis called me and came up with an idea for me, which was the whole Bobby Dutch thing, which he wanted me to be just like a big, loud, obnoxious Texan, like a Bobby Duncombe or Stan Hansen.
Except not a good wrestler.
Yes, exactly.
This is
so he told me, he was like, you got to cut your hair, dye it blonde, and we needed to switch the trunks. So that was a little different for me. I had to do that all within like a 5-hour period, which kind of sucked. Yeah, I mean, I did that for the joy to my stay there, and they told me everything that I needed to do, which was very rare for them to do down there. So I guess that's why they hired me, because they saw that I could portray this gimmick or whatever. And yeah, so it was like toward the end of my run when they told me to switch up whatever I was doing and try to do something for myself, which is what I wanted to do because I had a bunch of stuff in mind. And then I think I got fired 3 days after they told me that. So I had no chance to shine. I think that's what the kids say these days.
I don't know why they keep saying the word shine for no goddamn reason.
So
it's my favorite word.
Here's the big question. Now, Dan, your path led you to many places as well. You were in New York Wrestling Connection, NYWC. Now, something people may not know about you is that you had a hand in training the likes of Zack Ryder, Kurt Hawkins, and Trent Beretta.
And the Iron Sheik.
And the Iron Sheik.
And the Iron Sheik.
That's the one that everyone always forgets, I know. So, how was your time in New York Wrestling Connection, and how did it come about that you trained those guys?
Well, that's where I started with NYWC. NYWC for a long time was the indie in Hicksville, and then it merged with Mikey Murphy, who had a school called QWA at the time, which stemmed from, I think, HWA, the alphabet soup of pro wrestling. And, the companies merged, and then after a while, it was like, I remember the day that, like, Zack Ryder came in. Him and, like, Trent Beretta, like, joined at the same time around, not long after each other. A lot of fun-known facts is that Zack Ryder had a backyard wrestling federation that was on public access in Long Island. And it was a kind of a big rib among the pro wrestlers, and then we see like watch it after Raw. And there it was, or right before Raw, I should say. And there he was, Brett Matthews, in all of his glory with his club shirt and his sunglasses and his beaded stainless steel necklace type thing. And he came in, Trent Beretta, when he joined, he was 15 years old, and he weighed about a $120, scrawny little kid. And they all sort of made their way into NYWC. And from there, I just sort of was a guest trainer. Like, I would be the guy, like Mikey would train, and then there'd be other people there who would help train them. But, like, I ended up coming in on, like, Sundays, and they were always there. And then I ended up becoming, they gave me a key to the school, and I ended up becoming one of the trainers. From there, it just kept growing, I guess. Like, I kept, like, Brian Myers, Kurt Hawkins came in, and he was another person that they just threw me with. And then the NYWC for, like, 6 months, it sort of closed down. And then during that time, I took those guys to, like, Ace, which was in Jersey, and trained them on, like, Wednesdays and Thursdays, and came back. And, I mean, it's not really all that fun of a story. It's just the way it is. But it was a good time. I had a lot of fun working with those guys. I liked the energy they all had. They're all fun. But so I couldn't be more entertaining than the story. This is sort of pretty much how it went. They came to me, and I helped train them out of necessity, not necessarily anything else.
Well, I think it goes to show that these guys are on TV, but they had to get their start somewhere, and a lot of people don't realize that it's people like you that actually had a hand. If it wasn't for people like you, maybe they wouldn't have made it. So that's why I was asking the question.
Yeah, one of the things I think that, I never really take credit for their signing, because they didn't get signed because of anything like I taught them, I don't believe. I just think that, like, some of the crispness of the moves they do and the way they carry themselves, I kind of sort of take some level of credit for, but, like, psychology and their successes are sort of all on them.
All right, now, guys, Team Tremendous. How did you guys, form Team Tremendous? And now, could we call this the second incarnation, since it was Dan and Ken Scampy were the originals, or what's your thoughts on that?
Well, Team Tremendous originally started back in, like, 2003 or 2004. Ken and I were the team, so to speak. And I don't even know if I started wrestling yet at that point. And then
I was just being bored, actually, because I'm a lot younger.
Yeah, well, yeah, you are. You're much younger, which probably explains why you're not quite. Yeah, it's probably why you're not very good. But
what?
What? Who said that? So anyway, we started our little incarnation or whatever, and Team Tremendous is actually just a play on the concept, like, I forget what happened, but somebody was talking about, and it was 100% true story. Somebody saw Scampy's bulge, and they were like, "Oh my God, that's tremendous!" And then the same thing happened. Similar story happened with me, and it was like, "Oh my God, it's tremendous!" And then it just kind of kept going from there. And next thing we knew, it was like Mikey Ripper was a member of Team Tremendous, Matt Striker was a member of Team Tremendous, and then me and Scampy made the tag team out of it. Bill came into, like, FTW, which is a Long Island Fed, around, like, 2000, I want to say 2009, 2008, 2007, something.
I think it was 2010, I believe.
Really?
Yeah, I told you. I've only been doing this for like 6 years.
I forget. Whatever.
How old am I again? I think I'm like 15.
Yeah. Happy. Oh, you just turned 15. So happy 15th birthday, Bill Carr.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
So we met Bill, and Bill was sort of like a fish out of water, and he didn't know what to do. He was very uncomfortable with his own skin. So we were like, well, he's our new best friend, and we decided to take him along with us, or like make him like our buddy, because we didn't fit in there either. And Bill and we all started being like buddies and hanging out, and then Bill got signed, which he'll tell you about ad nauseum, because that's what he loves to do. Oh, I'm Bill, I got signed. Whatever, Bill. Fuck you, Bill.
I don't know how that either.
So, basically, Beyond Wrestling has sort of made Team Tremendous a faction, and we were like, well, Bill Carr's our faction, 100%, that's what I want, Bill Carr in our faction. And Bill, this is after Bill got back with SCW, and then Bill and I just decided once Scampy retired that we were going to become a tag team. There's a far more, getting into the cop gimmick is a totally different story, so if Bill wants to throw anything into this story, let him, because right now I'm cutting up tacos.
First time I think we did it, I think it was actually me and Scampy, right?
Yeah, it was you and Scampy and Beyond Wrestling.
Yeah, and we wrestled Sugar Dunkerton and Taka
Suzuki.
Yes, there it is. It's Japanese. And we went out there, had fun at a big comedy match, and like it blew up on the internet. And I think that's how it started. I think we teamed a little while in FTW again, but it was more me and Scampy instead of me and Dan. And then once Scampy retired, me and Dan just teamed up by ourselves. No real gimmick or anything, just going out there and wrestling.
I remember we had said that we were tired of being, we wanted to have fun, and so me and him decided to team up just because we wanted to enjoy ourselves.
Yeah. So then ISW came around, and they're known for their very outlandish and wacky gimmicks. So I think Dan came to me at the time and was like, "Hey, I have this idea. We should have like a 1980s buddy cop tag team. Like, I'll dress like Tom Selleck from Magnum PI, and you dress like Danny Glover from Lethal Weapon." So, and
we thought to know that Bill is a dead ringer for Danny Glover.
Absolutely.
Yeah, completely, yeah. Like, spot on. To a T, I think.
Yeah, people like to think you are Danny Glover. You get it a lot.
Well, I do get it a lot.
Wait a minute. You're not Danny Glover?
No, I am. Danny Glover.
Okay, because I was going to say this interview's over if you're not.
No, I am. It's weird, like, having this disguise on and everything, because you can see right through it. Especially, like, when I left my apartment today, I was getting into my car, and some guy was like, getting these weird looks and stuff. And he followed me all the way to Kohl's, so I was picking up some clothes, some Keurig appliances today. And he followed me into Kohl's, and he was like, "Hey, I need to ask you a question. But you really look like Danny Glover except white." And I almost lost my mind. I wanted to kill this fucking kid. Like, how? What the hell are you doing? What the hell is going on?
There's some tacos going on, huh?
Jesus Christ, Dan, come on.
I'm making guacamole, guys. I'm making guacamole.
Jesus. So do it, like, go into the room. I can't hear myself think. Now I don't even know what I'm talking about. I completely lost my train of thought because Dan's making guacamole. On to the next subject.
Okay. Well, I'm going to say that since forming the tag team, you guys have become mainstays at like a ton of different promotions in the Northeast. You're currently working for Beyond Wrestling. You mentioned ISW or InterSpecies Wrestling, and even Tommy Dreamer's House of Hardcore. Are you guys both happy with your current runs in independent wrestling?
I would say we're happy, but not as happy as we could be. I know we want to go a lot more places. PWG out in the West Coast would be a pretty good gig, I think. You know what? I think we just want to get more exposure all over the country and get booked wherever we possibly can right now, so more people know about us. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
I think anybody becomes like complacent with where they are. Like, oh no, this is good. It's like you should reassess what you're doing. You know what I mean? Like, not that there's anything wrong with it, but like, you know, you should. If you're not continually motivated, then you need to kind of readdress what you're actually doing and why you're doing it. And for us, like, legitimately, the cop gimmick. The fun thing with the cop gimmick is we legitimately were only going to do it for one company. We were like just going to do ISW as this cop thing. And we were having fun with it. We're like, oh, whatever, we'll have a good time. It'll be simple, it'll be fun. And then the ovation we got from that show, we're like, we should probably do this a little more. And so then we took it to like Beyond Wrestling, and Beyond Wrestling was like, this is amazing. And, you know, they wanted to put us on all their shows. Originally, they actually weren't going to put us on their shows, fun fact. We were just only on the show prior to their debut at Set Music. And then they decided to put us on all the shows after that show. And then from there, we went to, you know, people started telling people about the gimmick, and like, this is so much fun. You guys should all use it. You should all use it. And then, you know, we went to a company called CTWE, which is now closed, and we went to now we're in Combat Zone, which a lot of people really wouldn't expect this silliness to be inside. You know what I mean? Like, nobody really thinks a silly cop gimmick is going to be competing for tag titles at the next CCW event. Cheap plug. And then what WC we went back into, and then House of Hardcore, Tommy Dreamer offered us a spot, and now we're on there. And, the next show, like, it's been fun. Like, it's crazy how like all this is sort of like steamrolling into like snowballing into this big thing. We didn't expect it, but like we're not done. Like we have more we want to do.
All right,
we're just getting started.
just the beginning.
Getting started.
Now, guys, you've lent your hands to train again, also helping out at the House of Hardcore school. Is that just as gratifying to you guys as wrestling, helping out younger guys?
Absolutely. I think that, especially there, because we go sporadically, I guess, but the head trainers there are Victor Licious and Hale Collins, the Now, which are Poughkeepsie locals. And they have been around just as much as we have. They've been all over the place. So all four of our minds, like, combined, I think is really, really, like, informative for these kids, because I've been somewhere Dan hasn't. Dan's been somewhere I haven't. Vic's been somewhere we haven't. All that. So everybody's had experience all over the place, and we can all combine that together and share it with the kids at the House of Hardcore school. And I think from what I've seen, they are doing a hell of a job. And I actually think a few of them are going to be on this ISW show coming up as like a tryout show. I think beforehand they're doing. And they're also getting some notoriety on the House of Hardcore shows as well, which is really good. So they're really getting the exposure that they deserve right now. Plus with Tommy Dreamer, who's the only person in the wrestling business who can show up on Raw Monday, Impact on Thursday, and then in front of 20 people at any show on Saturday, and still be loved by everybody in the business. He is the best person to have a connection with because he can get you booked wherever you want, whenever you want. And as you can see from this past Friday, there was some of the Rosebuds, Adam Rose's thing. A few of them were House of Hardcore students, including Vic Delicious himself, who did a hell of a job and took a hell of a bump from the Demon Cane.
They were gorgeous.
Now, Dan, are you eating tacos, or are you okay to?
I am sitting down. I'm here for the phone calls. Since I have, you guys got to realize I got to double up my time here. So right now I'm tuning some taco meat into my delicious tortilla. But go ahead.
Okay. So when you aren't investigating, we know that you spend time being a comedian, even hosting shows for Mick Foley. In your experience, which is harder, wrestling or telling jokes?
Well, it depends on what you're looking at. For me right now, comedy is significantly harder because I've been doing wrestling for so long. But it's a different muscle. You know what I mean? Like the way I always put it is, like, I've wrestled at Rikers Island. Like, I've wrestled at a prison. I remember going in, they gave me the speech, like, hey, like, if they take you or hold you hostage or whatever, like, that's it. We're not negotiating. Like, you just have to, wait it out, or whatever happens. And being like, okay, like, whatever. Like, that's life. I'm cool with that. And then I remember I did a fundraiser for, like, 70-year-old women. And I was, like, freaking out. Like, I don't know if I can do this. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I was uncomfortable with the idea of performing in front of 70-year-old women, but I was okay wrestling in front of inmates. It's a different muscle. I'm hoping that after, like, if I were to spend the exact same amount of time in comedy as I did in pro wrestling, I would have, the same level of comfort. But, right now, I get scared shitless if I'm told that, hell, can you go up right now? Whereas opposed to wrestling, if me and Bill showed up at a show and, like, can you get dressed and go out right away? We'd be like, whatever. No problem, bud.
All right, now, guys, why we're here, we're talking about InterSpecies Wrestling. Now, on October 25th, you guys will be wrestling. You'll be challenging the Food Fighters for their InterSpecies Wrestling Tag Team Championships. Now, guys, what strategy do you have for Pasquale and Bastion Snow?
I'm gonna eat a taco.
We're probably going to eat a lot of tacos. And it's a lobster and a crab. I'm a big fan of seafood. So I plan on bringing a big pot of boiling water so I can kill the both of them and eat them right afterwards.
Don't forget the lobster bibs, right? Lobster bibs might come in handy.
Oh, those are for pussies. I eat lobster and crabs whole, shells on, sometimes raw. Sometimes I'll go into the river, in the Hudson River myself, no scuba equipment or anything, and just scale the bottom of the river, finding lobsters and crabs, which I didn't know were in the Hudson River to begin with. But I find them and I eat them right then and there, and they're delicious.
Nothing's crazier than seeing Bill naked hunting in the Hudson River with a bottle of Frank's Red Hot, eating raw crabs.
Yeah, it's
both scary and it's both scary and arousing.
So expect me to be completely naked at this ISW show with Frank's Red Hot smeared all over my face.
They killed Ken Scampy. They murdered Ken Scampy in the middle of a wrestling ring.
Oh, yeah, that is right. He didn't retire. He's dead.
What's that?
Forgot about that. I said, yeah, he didn't retire. He's actually dead. He was murdered.
Yeah, he's dead. They killed Ken Scampy in the middle of a wrestling ring. And then Pasquale, if you read his Twitter, at Pasquale ISW, he is saying he's going to make the streets run red with our blood. He is.
Did he say that?
He said that. Oh, he said it. Look it up. I retweeted it and everything.
Shit.
Yeah, he's real.
Bitch.
So I'm going to I'm going to unload my gun, my literal 9mm, into his asshole. That's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to shoot a gun directly into his butthole.
Now, if that doesn't if that right there doesn't sell tickets for the show, I mean, what more could you ask from these guys, right?
Yeah,
Jonathan?
you guys want to see me? If you guys want to see me execute a chef in the middle of a wrestling ring while a crab cries in the corner and Bill nakedly chases it with a bottle of Frank's Red Hot, if that doesn't sell wrestling tickets, you might not have a soul for your economy.
You know, look, the audience has the opportunity to witness 2 actual live killings right in front of their eyes.
Yeah. Who doesn't want to see murder?
Well, hey.
And because it's wrestling and because we're cops, it's fine. We'll get away with it scot-free.
Lightning round.
Dan, what is the best buddy cop duo of all time?
That would be Axel Foley and Nick Nolte.
Okay.
Think about it. There are 3 Beverly Hills. Another 48 Hours is a phenomenal movie. I think we can all agree on that.
Bill, you are one of wrestling's big men. Who is your favorite big man?
My favorite big man. Oh, shit. I'm going to go with Bruiser Brody.
I hope all these questions are like, hey, Bill, you went to the WWE. Tell me about this. And then you come back to me and be like, hey, Dan, you wrestled at a VFW hall once in front of 150 people. Tell me about it. I want that's how the questions to go. That's how I want these questions to go from now on.
Well, I'm going to ask you, Dan, in your team, and maybe this will get lost, I don't know, but who is the Rizzoli and who is the Isles?
Whoa. First off, don't try and split us up like that. Okay? We're not limited to Rizzoli and Isles, a show that I'm almost positive has already been canceled. We are far better than that. Like, if anything, who do I think that we are? I would say that we're closer to, like, Vincent D'Onofrio and, what's that girl's name? Shit. How did I lose this? Whatever. Like Vincent D'Onofrio, and he's Ice-T. And that's how that works.
All right, guys, both of you, what is your dream tag team opponents? Who are they?
Bill?
Demolition.
Oh, not on my watch, Bill.
Dan and Bill and Bill Eadie have a heated rivalry going on.
Yeah, we have
upsetting.
legitimate heat, Bill Eadie and I. So the less we talk about him, the better. But he knows what he did, and Bill, I'm coming for you.
Yeah. All right.
And I
So Dan, who would you be? Oh, Gemini. Yes, absolutely. That's definitely not one of mine.
The Gemini, 100%.
I did see, I think either a tweet or a Facebook that you were coming for him.
Mm-hmm. He knows
Okay.
exactly. Both the Gemini and Bill Eadie know what they've done, and they know that we're coming for him.
Okay. We look forward to that as well. But Dan, who are some of your comedy role models?
Oh boy! I mean, first off, you got to look at let's just start from the top. We'll start with Bill Cosby. Bill Cosby is probably the best storyteller comic ever. The guy can sit on a chair and just look into a crowd, and you're fully engulfed in what he's talking about. I think a guy like Bill Burr is a very good comic, very funny comic, very fucked up comic, and can pretty much says whatever comes to his head, and you pretty much have to laugh at it. It's all in how he delivers it. You have Louis C.K., who I think is very, very funny. You have,
Carlos Mencia.
Yeah, obviously Carlos Mencia. Let's think. Tom Hanks in that movie where he does stand up, phenomenal, great comic in that. With
Forrest
Meg
Gump.
Ryan. What's that?
Forrest Gump, right?
Yeah, Forrest Gump.
That movie is hilarious.
He was very funny in Forrest Gump.
I know.
I think, as much as I don't like him, Bill Eadie's a great comic.
This is getting to the point of semi-medium lightning round.
Yeah. This is I like long answers. You just happen to like lightning. At some point, you're gonna have to stop the lightning because you're tired of hitting the button.
All right. Now, both you guys, do you have any facial hair grooming tips?
Yeah, be a man.
Yeah, he has a very nice mustache, and I haven't shaved in years. My whole body. You can see my back. My back is like a full on sweater.
If Bill was not to shave anything from now until Christmas, his only thing that would be showing is maybe his forehead. That'd be it. His forehead and his eyeballs.
And sometimes I find random hairs on my forehead. I don't know where they come from or how they get there, but I find them.
I blame Bill fucking Eadie.
I
don't know what else we can go into here, but I want to.
So a little bit about my grooming tips on your mustache. So when you're growing the mustache, you have to cultivate it. You have to talk to it. You have to treat it well. You have to shampoo it, condition it. That's the first. A lot of people don't think about conditioning and shampooing your facial hair.
A lot of mint tree oil too.
Oh, what's that?
A lot of mint tree oil too.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you can rub some aloe vera on it every now and then, for some reason it stimulates hair growth. 2, make sure you trim your mustache depending on where you want it. Like, I don't look good with the Hulk Hogan stack. Most people don't, so don't try and do it. Cut it at the lip, make the bottom lip your line. That's all you have to do. And then make sure you comb it. Comb your mustache. That's a big one. A lot of people overlook that. And make sure you comb, condition, shampoo, aloe vera,
mint tree oil, ragu from time to time.
Yes, obviously ragu. Frank's Red Hot as well. And then that should do it. That should be your facial hair.
Lightning round.
I think that instead of the hustle, loyalty, respect, the next Team Tremendous shirt should say comb, condition, and mint tree oil.
It's not a bad idea.
So now that we've got done with the lightning round, where can fans keep up with you guys? I know that some of you have Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. I imagine there's a merch store and upcoming shows. So whoever wants to take this, have at it.
So you can do it. Now listen to me eat this taco.
All right. Well, you can find me on Twitter at WWE Dutch. And also on Instagram at WWE Dutch. I refuse to change the name because it gets me more followers. And also, I still haven't gotten over my release. So,
which tacos so good.
We do have a merchandise store. I don't know the website. Dan probably does because he knows a lot more than I do.
MKT.com. MKT.com/Team
Oh, yeah, what he said. We have T-shirts on sale, 8x10s on sale, and you can also order a drunk phone call from myself for $5.
$5, and you can get Bill Carr hammered calling your home.
Yeah, because 9 times out of 10, I'm going to be shit-faced anyway. Anytime throughout the day. Right now, I'm okay because I just woke up. I haven't been able to have my alcohol yet. But yeah, so you're gonna guarantee me being drunk if you order that phone call from me.
Yeah. Bill wakes up every morning, brushes his teeth, and then drinks a bottle of mouthwash.
Yeah. Within seconds, and I'm destroyed by noon.
Oh yeah.
Tomorrow, I mean noon tomorrow.
And like we mentioned, October 25th, InterSpecies Wrestling. It's Slamtasia 5. It's the Fans Bring the Legos. You guys will be there. You're going to be at House of Hardcore in Philadelphia on November the 15th.
Mm-hmm.
Do you guys have any Beyond Wrestling shows coming up?
We do, but I'm pointing out that you once again only listen to Bill do his plugs and then totally glazed over me. Well, you don't want to hear Dan Barry talk about Twitter. I'm at the Dan Barry. You don't want to say Facebook.com/the Dan Barry, Instagram at the Dan Barry. None of this. No, you only want to hear about Bill and his illustrious WWE career. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I get it.
No, I was getting to that because now I know that Dan Barry actually has some comedy shows that he's doing, and there are some more upcoming comedy shows. So I wanted to hear from you on those.
I don't know if you guys knew, but I was signed by the WWE. I don't know if you guys knew that.
You are 2 seconds away from being on the Bill Eadie list.
Just reminding you guys again, I was once signed to the WWE. Just letting you know. I don't know if you guys knew at all.
That should be another shirt, by the way.
I was once signed to WWE. And then mine will be never quite made it.
Not only did we find out a lot about you guys, but we're also, hashtagging or, copywriting shirts as we go. I mean, don't forget these, because when they come out, we're going to have to buy them.
Oh, yeah, you absolutely will have to buy them, because we need to use it to support our living. Because we don't even make money from being cops anymore. Bill's been suspended so many times from doing desktops. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. Plus, I eat a lot of lasagna, too, so that's where a lot of the money goes.
Wow, guys. We appreciate it. That's the time coming to a close, guys. We
didn't even get to plug my upcoming shows. You guys are fucking killing me right now.
I think I got distracted by the tacos. Go ahead, plug it up.
I'm the one making and eating tacos, and you guys aren't on the ball. You Bill Eadie motherfuckers. I cannot believe this.
Unbelievable.
You know what? I'm taking over the show. Hey, guys. I'm here with my partner, Bill Carr.
Who was once signed by the WWE.
Once signed by the WWE. I am never quite made it, Dan Barry. November 1st, that will be CZW in Deer Park, New York. The November 8th will be at CZW in Voorhees, New Jersey. November 15th will be at House of Hardcore in Philadelphia, the ECW Arena. And then the 21st, I think, we will be at XWA in Rhode Island. The 22nd will be at FTW in Queens. And then the following weekend is Beyond Wrestling's Tournament for Tomorrow 3, where me, Bill, and I will be competing in the Tournament for Tomorrow. Wow. That's the end of my motherfucking plugs, you Bill ED pieces of shit.
Well, thanks for reminding me of those bookings, Dan, because I had no idea.
Bill was writing them down as I was saying them.
Is there anything else, Dan, that you'd like to throw out there?
Yes, there's one thing that I want to throw out there. I would just like to remind everybody out there that I was once signed to the WWE.
And that I never quite made it.
And Dan was never there. Not even an extra, ever. He was never an extra. How shitty is that? That sucks.
I'm going to give you one more, another T-shirt idea here. I say that you, Dan, you'll have to have a shirt that says, was once signed by the WWE with an arrow pointing to Bill.
Yeah. My partner was famous once.
Wow.
I wouldn't go that far.
No. Caitlin and AJ posted or talked about you on TV once.
That is true. And up until this last Friday, I think I was the last person who, dragging Teddy Long out of the general manager's office, never to be seen ever again. I killed him. I murdered him. I ate his eyes and I sucked his ears. What does that mean? That is weird. On to the next subject.
we ran out of subject, guys. That was that was pretty much the show.
Oh, all right.
Before you,
I really want to be the C in the Human Centipede.
The C.
I have a lifelong dream that one day I will be the C.
I want you to know that we just spoke with none other than Tiny Zeus Lister, and he is going to be in Human Centipede 3.
Oh my God, I can't wait to be the C behind his B.
That is, there you go. You have none other than the creator, the promoter, the all-around everything for InterSpecies Wrestling, Mike Rotch. Mike, thanks for joining us.
Hi, how are you guys? Thanks for having me.
I'm super pumped about this. I want to do anything and everything I can to get InterSpecies Wrestling out to the masses. It's just super shows. They're totally unexpected. In one way, I want everybody to be there, but in another way, like the intimate crowd that we have at the Heirloom Arts Theater is just second to none. So I want to just... For everyone that's out there listening who may not know about it, can you just tell us a little bit about InterSpecies Wrestling and maybe how you got it started?
As a way to describe InterSpecies Wrestling, one of my partners, Matt Hack, he put together this description that he's been using everywhere he goes, every podcast he's been on, and it's basically perfect. It's basically what he said is all the wrestling promotions that you enjoy, all right? They all went to this prom, okay? And the prom queen got knocked up by one of them, or all of them. She had a baby. Baby ended up in a dumpster, found by wolves, was raised by wolves, and that's what InterSpecies Wrestling is.
That is absolutely perfect.
I just described it on another podcast I was on. Not another wrestling podcast, but another podcast. I described it as basically two monkeys with knives. One of them represents traditional pro wrestling. One of them represents everything that's wrong with the world. And they're just fighting. But yeah, InterSpecies Wrestling it started as a joke. It's basically a joke that's gone way too far between a bunch of friends in Montreal, Canada.
Now, you guys, you've had a pretty good year. I mean, you ran several events, even having events at Vans Warped Tour. Do you guys plan on coming back next year, or any other maybe concerts or anything like that you plan on expanding to? Because that would be pretty good.
We would love to do more concerts and conventions and whatnot. So if anybody out there who represents like a concert or a comic book convention or anything is listening, and you'd like to have some wacky pro wrestling as part of your event, we're down. We are down as down could be. As for the Warped Tour, this is actually our fourth time being part of the Warped Tour.
Oh, all right.
But only the first time part of the Warped Tour in the United States. We'd love to do more. I've even pitched the fact that we'd love to do more dates next year. So maybe something in New York, maybe something in New Jersey, Pennsylvania. Screw it. Let's go all the way to California if we can.
All right.
We'd love to do it again.
You guys pretty much run exclusively out of Danbury, Connecticut, and some places in Canada. How do you choose, or how did you choose your venues?
Basically, our representative that lives in Danbury, Matt Hack, he chose the Heirloom Arts Theater. If I could, if I don't know if I could tell this story or not, but he fondly remembers that venue as one where he got lucky with a young lady when he was a younger person. And he was like, "Oh yeah, I know this venue. I'm gonna try and get it." And he went in there and he had a conversation with them, and he scored the Heirloom Arts Theater. And we fell in love with the place instantly because it looks a lot like one of the venues we ran in Canada. Because in Canada we ran basically like punk rock clubs, and this place was a lot like one of them. So it was like, oh man, we walked in there, and it was just like, this feels like home.
It almost seems like he's returning to the scene of the crime then, if that's...
Exactly, the scene of the crime. And we've committed so many more crimes there since.
Yes, you have.
Wow, I would definitely love to see you guys in Poughkeepsie, New York one day, because there's a few places up there. There's one called The Chance. It's a small venue, but I think you guys could, could do some damage there. And I think I always call Poughkeepsie the capital of pro wrestling. So hopefully we'll get you guys in upstate New York one day. But speaking of the Loom, you were saying last year you helped raise money to save the Loom, and you were recently involved in helping raising money for cancer. Why do you and your promotion feel so strongly about giving back?
Because honestly, it's just something that we've always been into. From the first InterSpecies Wrestling show, I wanted to give the proceeds to cancer because my mom had been affected by cancer back then. But that show ended up not having any proceeds because we lost our asses. But since then we've had a little more success, and we like to pay it forward. Get some of that good karma going. As for the cancer thing, who out there hasn't been affected by cancer in some way? Cancer is an indiscriminate killer. It takes on anybody, any race, any age, any size. Doesn't matter. It'll come after anybody. And we'd love to do our part to kick it in the nuts and take it down a notch. As for the Heirloom's home, man. As soon as we heard that they were having troubles, we had to help them. Because not only because like selfishly we would have been left homeless if they closed, but they're a great place run by great people. Why wouldn't we want to help them?
Mm-hmm.
Now, this is kind of on the opposite end of the spectrum. You also run a site called IThreatenYourLife.com.
Oh Lord.
Yeah. We found it. How does this site work, and are you some sort of sicko?
Yes and yes. Some sort of sicko, yeah. Basically, I posted a Facebook status one day, just saying if you send me $5 via PayPal, I'll write you a love letter. I'm pretty good at writing love letters. I mean, I did manage somehow to get somebody to marry me, so I must have been good at the love thing at one point in my life. And then I added like a comment basically saying, or if you're fucked up and you want to pay me money, I'll write you a death threat letter, and I'll draw how I'd kill you. And that got more responses than the love letters. I was like, maybe I got something here. Maybe this thing can be pretty cool. And it was pretty cool. I've drawn a number of death threats for people from England and Scotland and fucking all over the United States and Canada. It was really cool. I'm actually considering shutting the website down. Because I can't keep up with orders. I'm one person. When it came down to the drawings, originally they were going to be really crude, like stick drawings of your death. But then somewhere in the midst of making all these drawings, I decided, holy shit, I'm a good artist, and started putting like everything I could into the drawings. So every drawing was taking me hours, and I'm not making like basically. You're paying like $5 for a letter, or $5 for a drawing, or $9 for both. After getting the paper printed, which is on a beautiful heavy stock, and it's really nice looking, and like shipping the letters out, I make pretty much chicken scratch.
You're gonna have to up the fee or something.
Up the fee, or maybe even up the fee to a point where I can hire another person to help me out. The death threats are all ridiculous, though. I mean, there's a disclaimer on the page that tells you they're not real. They're not real, and even if they were real, like, how would I even do these? Like I use a lot of pro wrestling in them. I've done one where I give somebody Kevin Steen's package pile driver on a pile of Lego. I've done one where I give somebody a giant swing into a industrial fan.
I think I saw one, and you can correct me if I'm wrong here, but there was lawn darts and piranha.
Lawn darts and piranhas. Yep. Yeah, I mean, practice makes perfect. It probably would have taken a lot of time to kill somebody, but they'd get chewed up. They get chewed up pretty well.
Wow. Well, getting back into interspecies wrestling, you have some of the most interesting characters going today. How are these characters created?
Most people would like to hear me say lots of drugs, but I've actually never done any drugs in my life, and I get really offended when they imply that. Basically, I can find inspiration in anything. For instance, the character of Lloyd Cthulhuitz, I thought of that while watching the movie Little Shop of Horrors.
Huh?
Watching Little Shop of Horrors, I don't understand how I got the idea of combining a divorce attorney and an elder god, but I did, and I drew the picture, and the next thing I knew, the character existed. But like, I could find, honestly, I play a lot of video games, I read a lot of comic books, I watch a lot of horror movies, and somehow, somewhere in between all of that, I come up with these gimmicks.
All right.
I'm gonna have to say that just as somewhat of a newbie to your promotion, I think that probably the front runner for me right now is either Dr. Gene Splicing or Fluffy.
Yes, absolutely. I like those guys as well. Dr. Gene Splicing has the most detailed mask in all of interspecies wrestling, and it's so cool. I really want to do more with that character. But Fluffy is basically everybody's nightmare. He's a big giant killer bunny, and his name is Fluffy. Like, I think that when things are big and scary, and they have like such an innocent name, it just makes them that much scarier.
Oh, absolutely.
Like I mean, Chucky the Killer Doll. His name's Chucky. Like, who's gonna be afraid of something named Chucky? Until you see, this little freaking doll just slashing people up, and
We recently had Tiny Zeus Lister on our show, so he's another.
See, Tiny,
exactly.
Tiny. Oh man.
So you've had so much interest in your promotion that you're even having an open tryout before your show this Saturday. And the best part about it is fans can actually come and see the tryout. So what are you trying to do with these tryouts?
Well, we get a lot of invitations from other promotions to put on showcases in which we send a couple of our gimmicks to represent us in a match on one of their shows. And the problem with that is that none of our gimmicks live in the New York or Connecticut regions. Most of them are from Canada, and there's a few in Pennsylvania and whatnot, and it's hard to get them all out there. So basically with the tryout is I'm trying to see these new talents that desperately want to work for interspecies wrestling and send me their resumes all the time and their matches on YouTube. We want to see if we can maybe put gimmicks on some of these guys, to almost expand our ranks within the states of like New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, so that when it comes down to like a promotion in, say, Massachusetts wanting 4 guys for a tag team match, all gimmicks, we could put that together for them without having them have to pay like the gas for a Montreal carload or like a Pennsylvania carload. It makes it easier if we have more gimmicks around the home base in Danbury.
All right. Why do you feel that wrestling fans are tuning more to an alternative product such as yours these days?
I don't know. I mean, I think that if it wasn't for products like us, all wrestling would just be the same.
Yeah.
You kind of need that side dish type thing, the side chick in pro wrestling. And that's what we are, like there's a lot of people that like the straight up wrestling, like the Ring of Honor, even like the PWG, but they can get a little wacky as well. But then they see us and it's like I describe us honestly to most people as pro wrestling for people who don't like pro wrestling.
All right.
So I find it so like maybe like the people who enjoy the straight up wrestling and then come to see us, like maybe they just need a break from that other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Because our shows are basically like it's like a punk rock concert with a side of pro wrestling. You know what I mean? Like you're at this show with a bunch of people and you're having a good time and you're talking to the other people and meeting new friends and whatnot. And then all of a sudden there's a band, and then you look to your right, and in between these ropes is a giant bunny fighting Cthulhu.
And cupcakes.
And cupcakes. We've always got cupcakes. Cupcakes.
Now, what match are you looking most forward to this Saturday? We have a Lego death match. We have, like we said, Fluffy will be in action. We have the tag team title match, Food Fighters versus Team Tremendous. What are you looking most forward to?
I can't even answer that question. Like, I look forward to the show as a whole because every match is basically just parts of a whole. Because the way that we lay our shows out is like every match tends to have something different, and when you put all these things together, they just make like this one awesome thing. But I'd be lying, honestly, if I didn't say I was looking forward to the Lego Deathmatch, because this is something I came up with back in like 2005, and we've been doing it ever since. And we don't do it that often, so it's cool to see people's reactions to something like that, especially if they're a first timer.
All right. What does 2015 hold for InterSpecies Wrestling? Is there anything you're looking forward to next year? Maybe something you can't really say what's going on yet, but you can give us maybe a little something?
Well, we're planning to make it our biggest year yet. I can't really go into it, but we are looking to expand to other areas. It is our 10th year in operation. We will celebrate our 10th birthday in August, so that's obviously a big thing for us. Mm-hmm. But yeah, we're just trying to make it our biggest year. I can't really say too much yet, but I'll say that I want new characters, and I want new places, people, and things.
Lightning round.
Favorite gimmick of all time?
Favorite gimmick of all time? Papa Shango.
Where are Glad Bad and the Craigslist Homo registered?
I can't even think of anything funny to say. I don't know.
How would you...
Glamazon.com.
Glamazon.com. Awesome. Going back to your IThreatenYourLife.com, how would you kill us here at Another Wrestling Podcast?
I would staple stakes to your faces and throw you into a pit of hungry dogs.
Yikes.
There you go. What would your ultimate Lego creation be?
I hated the movie Frozen, but lately that "Do You Want to Build a Snowman" song has been stuck in my head, so I really want to see a Lego snowman.
Okay. And lastly, what would your dream interspecies main event be?
Interspecies. Oh, my dream main event for Interspecies Wrestling right now is Masato Tanaka against Chris Dickinson.
Wow.
Chris Dickinson to me is he's like a new Mike Awesome, and with Mike Awesome unfortunately no longer with us, I think that Masato Tanaka himself needs a new Mike Awesome, even though towards the end he really did not like working him because he hurt him every time.
Yes.
Lightning round.
Wow. Well, I think that's the end of the lightning round. Mike, thanks so much for joining us. Where can fans find you and your products? Any self-promotion you want to give out from social media to the websites?
Absolutely. Our official website is InterSpeciesWrestling.com. We are also on YouTube at youtube.com/interspecies. I myself personally am on Twitter at Rotchy Kong. It's like Donkey Kong, but with Rotchy in front of it. And you can follow us as a crew at ISDub.